everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another movie review. This time I'm reviewing the animated feature Hair High by Bill Plympton. And I think this is my favorite. I like Mutant Aliens a lot, but this one I think is even better than Mutant Aliens. And it's, ironically, it's a love story, and I'm not going to go into details, but it happens around the era of the 50s, and there are a lot of double entendres and sort of certain kinds of witty jokes that are made concerning sex, and it's actually quite amusing. And I really liked Bill's animation style, and one of the voice actors involved was my idol, Matt Groening, and I thought that was really cool. It takes upon kind of a darker twist, but it's actually very romantic in the end, and I thought, well, how interesting and how sweet, and I can't believe I'm saying that, and you just hope for the best for those two characters all the way through, and they do have their happy ending, even though it's not the way that you would have expected them to. But it's a really great movie. It's got a lot of really hysterical lines in it that I'm sure the voice actors, when they were recording them, probably tried not to bust a gut while they were recording these lines, because I know I would had I been in production of Hair High. But one thing I noticed that was interesting was if you have Dog Days on DVD, he uses the same background music for a lot of the scenes, which is do 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 do, that. And he actually had a lot more involved with that particular theme, and I thought he recycles music. Interesting. But I didn't think that there was anything wrong with that. I thought that it was appropriate music, and a lot of the songs that were used were really great, especially the scene where Spud and Cherri are realizing that their relationship is changing, because in the beginning Cherri is the girl that everybody looks up to, and she's just this beauty. She's almost like a goddess, and her boyfriend Rod is the captain of the football team, and he's your typical jock and she's your typical airhead, so they're a match made in heaven. And along comes Spud, and Spud's a new kid, and he doesn't really fit in well at school, and I could really relate to that, you know, growing up and being outcast and looked upon just as weird and a freak, and I got called a lot of different names when I was going through school, but I turned out to be okay. I can laugh about it now because the geeks shall inherit the earth. That's all I can say. It's just I think it's a very inspirational film, although the ending does take you by surprise. I'm gonna just repeat some lines that I really liked. One of them was, "Ah, those flies are having sex!" And another one was, "She makes my Twinkie tingle, Rod, but she always rejects me." That was Rip, one of the more sadistic characters. He liked to have his fingernails plucked out by Rod. I think this guy is a little delirious, and Mashugana. I think he might have an S&M complex somewhere deep down in his psyche. And then there's another line of, "Are those pencils in your bra, Cherri? Are you happy to see me?" Of course, that's Rod. And Another one was, yeah, that cock has a lot of spunk, and there were a lot of jokes made about that. And it's innocuous, but it's funny. And I love the way that Bill kind of mixes it up with the humor, and he's just very witty in that way. And I would have to give Hair High 4 stars and 2 thumbs up. I just love Bill Plympton's style and his choice in music, which I thought was accurate for the time, and the whole idea that it's a romance story. You weren't expecting it because it's a horror story mixed in with romance, and it's actually kind of tragic. It's just about how jealousy and rage can really get in the way of a true romance and the power of love as a whole. So if you haven't seen Hair High, I would definitely do it, because I think this is one of his best films ever. And of course, some other fans might disagree with me, because Mutant Aliens I thought was pretty good, but it was just a little bit out there for my taste. Even me as a surrealism lover, it was still kind of out there. There was somebody who was talking about it, a quote that I saw on another page said it was sort of like heavy metal. Well, it's similar to heavy metal with all the sex involved and gore, but yeah, I would have to say that it's just a different, the humor is different. And in heavy metal, it's darker and more ominous and a bit frightening at times, and it's definitely not for kids at all. And Hair High, I think Hair High is fairly tame. I would give it at least a PG-13 rating, because there are shots of Cherry topless, and you can see her shaking her breasts around. It's really kind of cute when you see him, Spud, he's thinking with his head, then he's thinking with his penis, and then you see his thinking with his head, and then thinking with his penis, and it's just, yeah, how he illustrates that is quite funny, and I like that scene as well. But I think my favorite scene in all the movie, and I know I'm schmaltzy, but it's the scene where they're driving along and their car is floating on top of a field of flowers. Of course, that's near the end as well, with Buttercup and the other character, I forget his name, but I just think it's a great tribute to the power of true love, and that everybody can learn a lesson from that, because love itself is just such a beautiful element, and it is the ultimate element, and it can defeat anything, even death. That's the lesson that I learned from Hair High.